You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box. Welcome to the Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast. You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast, fresh off of UFC Vegas 73, headlined by Kai Kara-France and Amir Albazi. We have plenty to discuss and get into. There was I'll just say it, a stone-cold robbery during the main event, and we like to be very delicate the way we use that word. We will get into our thoughts on the scorecards and everything that that main event had to offer. We had 13 fights to discuss here, and we will get into every single one of them. First, let's go over our betting slips and our how we did on our picks. I went 4-4 with a plus 1.55 unit day for me, which is not bad to get back in the green. Big win of the day was Caceres' decision, which was really kind of not really back and forth, but just kind of where I thought there could have been some time. I mean, Pineda was hurt to the body about 70 times, and he just wouldn't quit. And I knew Caceres, not really known for that killer instinct, so it was good to tough that one out. Your big win of the day was you had 3 straight wins of minus 105, minus 125, and minus 130. It pays the bills, though. You go 3-4 with a minus 1.1 unit. And we both would have had pretty good days had Kai Kara-France been given the decision that I believe he rightfully earned. I am Matt McSweeney. I am here with Ty Capone. Ty, sorry for the long intro, but I am a little fired up today after what happened on Saturday. But how are you feeling?
Yeah, I feel you. I am pretty fired up as well. Not happy. It's funny because when I read the decision, I don't know if you saw the video of Adesanya reacting. He knew as soon as he heard split, he was like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah,
that's exactly what I thought. And I said, I was hoping that the last scorecard would be read off 49-46 with the absolute hope somebody gave it to Kai, gave him 4 rounds at least, so I knew before they even said that. But it just seems like this happens all the time to us. I don't know.
And in the main events, it seems like we are just on the wrong side of a lot of these main events that they're razor-thin decisions. And, I mean, I really do honestly, truthfully believe this wasn't as close as people out there are making it sound like. I thought it was 1-4-5 easily. And I really don't think that – I mean, one's the only one where I could be like, all right, listen, I don't agree with you, but – okay, fine. You want to give it to Amir, I guess. But I thought Kai Kara-France controlled the action. I really do believe the longer this fight stayed standing, the more it was, it was in his favor, and the numbers back that up as well. So I really just don't. I guess let's just get right into it. Kai Kara-France loses a split decision to Amir Albazi in the main event on Saturday night. He doubled his strikes, correct? And the ground control time was about 6 minutes to, I think, Kai had about,
a minute,
right? 50 seconds, that's what I was going to say. I think Amir Albazi went the round where he got him down, he got the rear naked choke. I think that's easily his round, and I don't know if that was the third. I think it was the third, correct? And I think he controlled a little bit of the action in the second. I really just don't understand how, I believe, was it Chris Lee that gave Albazi the 4th round, and that's really what it comes down to. And it seems like, we talk about that in the Sterling fight, Sterling Cejudo, which we talked about, that night, which that wasn't even, we didn't consider that a robbery. We thought it was close, but we understood why the judges may have saw it the other way. But then you come back and you're like, wait, how did one judge give him the 5th round? And you're like, wait, that's literally what swayed this whole thing. How could this happen? It seems very similar to that situation in the sense that I don't know how he gave Albazi that 4th round.
Yeah, I mean, he outstruck him. Let's see. I just had the numbers: 27-5, 29-7 total strikes. He even got a takedown. I don't know what else. What did Amir Albazi do in that round that gave him the edge? I would love to hear from Chris Lee and what he thought. I remember one time we had that one judge explain why he had the scorecard he had. I forget his name.
Dude, Doug Crosby?
No, he's not around anymore because once he made a YouTube video about it, and then they pretty much said, all right, you're done. I forget his name, man. God, it's going to bother me. He pretty much made a video explaining why he scored it the way he did, and I didn't agree with him, but it was good that he did that. I think somebody needs to actually hold Chris Lee accountable and ask him, what did Amir Albazi do in that fourth round? Like, quite literally nothing. Kai Kara-France pretty much landed more than he threw. So I don't really know, I don't know.
I can't understand it, man. I really can't.
The first two rounds were close, I'll say. But even then, I mean, Kai doubled him up in the first, and he had the edge in the second, I thought. Maybe not. Fine. Give the third round to Albazi for sure. But, I mean, you look at the MMA decisions, the media scores, only two people of, I think, 21 or 22 people's media scorecards gave it to Albazi. I think 8 had it 48-47 Kara-France, and 10 had it 49-46 Kara-France. So, it doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I think he was also, minus 500 live at the very end of the fight.
We weren't the only ones that thought this.
Minus 375 going into the fifth. I think he was like minus 175 going into the fourth. Like, I don't know what else there is to really go off of. Maybe they should have Chris Lee review it again and see if he renders the same scorecard. I don't know. It's kind of crazy to me. Kind of just doesn't really make sense. Nobody's going to do anything because Dana White's going to come out and say, "Well, if you don't like the scoring, then don't let it go to the scorecards." That's what he's going to say, and nobody's going to fight back on the commissions, and it's just status quo. Pretty much same thing in boxing. But it's MMA fans always laugh at boxing fans and say, "Oh, your sport sucks. It's corrupt and rigged, and you have terrible judges and refs." Meanwhile, MMA is no different, So it's just it's very infuriating, and I think we really need to just start seeing more. I think the biggest fix is we need former fighters, former coaches, former or current athletes in the MMA world to be, I think, judges and refs.
I just can't really express how disappointing it is when this kind of stuff happens. Even if I would be happy that I won money, but if I were on the other side, I would still be like, man, it really feels like it just taints the sport. Where you like you said, you're able to have that over boxing, where it's like we get that, as an MMA fan, we get that clear-cut decision and answer usually every time these guys get in the cage. You know who won, you know who lost. There isn't this whole, they want this guy to win because he's younger and they want him to build this fight. Like, kind of like the Devin Haney and Lomachenko, where there's this black cloud of just negativity and kind of questioning whether this is legit or not. It really, for the most part, in the years I've been watching this sport, it really doesn't seem like it's been like that. But I got to be honest, in the more recent times, it kind of feels like we've had more of those where you're just like, wow, like what, like. Even to go back to the Paddy Pimblett and Jared Gordon, it's just like, whoa, like what am I? Do I not know when I'm watching, Ty? Is that what it is? Am I stupid? Like that's what I think I might have texted you or tweeted you. Like I really just feel like sometimes where I'm watching these and they score them, and I'm like, I guess maybe it's getting to the point of boxing where I'm like, I guess I just don't know what I'm watching anymore. It used to be MMA, I'd be like, oh, that guy won for sure, and you knew clear cut what was going on. I have no idea what the judges are going to do now when they go to the scorecards. I have no clue, and I guess that's why I love betting the inside the distance, because then I don't have to worry about it. Once I've gone to the decision, I've lost my bet, so I don't have to worry about getting that just ultimate dick tease when they and Mike Bell scores with Honda. They go through the whole thing, and you're like, oh my god, no, like I don't know, man.
It would have been really nice if you heard the judges score the fight 48-47, 49-46, and 48-47 Kai Kara. Like, you'd be like, I would feel vindicated. And I kind of do what you say sometimes. Like, do I need to go online and take I think it's available. You can take a course or pay something to, I guess, take a course going over the rules and how to score fights. Or like a whole crash course of how to do it or how you're supposed to do it. I know Luke Thomas has done it before. I think Luke Thomas is one of the smarter people in the MMA circles, media-wise. He's, definitely has a personality that you'll love it or hate it, but I think just overall intelligence, he's very smart. He's trained. He's been just around the sport for a long time. he took whatever this course is that you pay for. You go online, you read a bunch of fucking you pretty much read the manual of how to score a fight. And he went off on his podcast, which whatever you want to call it, his show, him and Brian Campbell's Morning Combat. He went off, and I agree with everything he said. Like that's having that fourth round for Amir Albazi. That's a fireable offense. Like
Easily.
That should legitimately get you barred from doing another fight just because of that. Even if it was it had no impact on the fight at all. Even if it didn't, that's indisputable, indefensible. That should not. You'd have to it's like retesting a driver at age 80 years old, right? You got to go through another test to get back on the road. Chris Lee should undergo a test to get back into the judging because that was it shouldn't have, but it swung the fight. And it's one thing if the first and second round were the swing rounds of this fight, I would get it. I'd be like, you know what, honestly.
I don't agree, but I understand it. Yeah,
they were exchanging jabs. I don't know either. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But the fourth round being a swing round, the most decisive round in a fight being the swing round is just insane. So, I mean, what else is there really to say on this?
Yeah, that's where I left I'm sitting there and I look at everyone. I said, I think we won that 3-2. I think it's 49-48, 1-4-5. It just seemed very clear at the time of watching. I didn't get the chance to watch it back, but I really don't I don't need to, honestly, because I don't disagree with.
Albazi just slowed down after the third. He's never been 5 rounds.
No.
And
he couldn't really get him down other than the one time.
He was just moving. He was moving forward and moving around. He wasn't even trying to throw anything. And in the fifth round, man, Kai Kara-France came out and he was lighting him up, aggressive. But even in the fourth round, he was just doing so much better. I mean, he went to the body, he went to the leg. He was mixing up his attack. I always wonder, though, if judges don't really view, I guess if there's a round that's kind of low volume on both sides, which they were for sure. I wonder if that low volume on both sides kind of contributes to their kind of blinding them of some of the low kicks or some of the minor details that add up, right?
Yeah.
A bunch of average strikes are better than none. They land. A jab lands. A low kick lands. Those count. That's a cumulative damage, right? He cut him, I think. I think he had a slight cut from an elbow on the bridge of his nose. His nose from the second round on was red.
It was pretty chewed up, yeah.
He was doing. I mean, most of those low kicks, none of them were getting checked. So they didn't make a difference, but they count it. And I just don't understand what in that fourth round. What did you score for Amir Albazi? I will go back and watch the fourth round and try to chart every single specific strike. I'm going to try to do that and see if I can find any. I mean, maybe he landed a nice little left, but man, the numbers really just speak for themselves.
Yeah, it's very just disheartening, man, to just watch a fight. And it's not, again, I know everyone's probably going to be like, well, you lost, so this is why you're saying that. This is really not about that, because this minus 110 was not going to really change the game for me all that much. I won money, you barely lost money. It was a good day either way. But it's just more about now I don't know what I'm betting. That is basically the point, where I think one guy won and he didn't. It's kind of exactly how I felt after the Paddy Pimblett fight when even I had Paddy Pimblett and I still was just like, wow. When they read the decision, I looked at my friends and I'm like, what the fuck was that, dude? I thought he lost that, and everyone's like, well, even those, as all these examples that I'm naming, even they made more sense than that fourth round being given to Amir Albazi.
I don't think I've ever been on the winning side of a bad decision ever. I literally don't think I ever have been. So actually, one time maybe it was Macy Barber against.
Oh yeah, Miranda Maverick. Yeah, we did get the host.
That was the one
that was nice.
time. Yeah, it feels great, but I was trying to tell myself, I'm like, man, what if I put Albazi in that parlay? I had a pretty big parlay on the line. It had Zaleski, it had Karini Silva, and it had Kai and I think Jim Miller. Just a bunch of easy. What if I would put Albazi? I would have felt like I would have felt bad. I would have been happy, but I would have been I probably should have lost that. What are you gonna do?
What are you going to do? And Amir Albazi then calls out Moreno, and it's just, he's kind of getting booed, but there's not enough people in there to really worry about. So it's just kind of, it leaves me with the taste of I could care less. Albazi is solid, 100% solid. He's a good fighter. I'm really not that impressed. I don't know what he's going to be able to do to some of these guys up, but I think Moreno beats him just because he's kind of better at him than in everything. I would assume.
Yeah, Moreno I think smokes him.
That's right. I don't think we're crazy in saying anything like that. Anyone else up there at 25, I have a tough time believing that they're. I mean, is Figueiredo even still at 25? Do we know? Is it
he can't? I don't think he can make it.
Right. So it's kind of who would Albazi fight next?
If Albazi fights Brandon Royval, I think that could be a big problem. Mateus Nicolau, I think those guys would give him problems, especially over the course of a fight because he's slowed down, man. I mean, I remember going back and watching his one loss to Jose Shorty Torres, and he kind of the same thing. It was a 3-rounder, and he started to fade a little bit. So, Alex Perez would be a good fight. I know he's doing a lot of grappling, so I think that would be kind of
grappling Roman Bravo Young now. Did you see that?
Yeah.
That's I saw that during the broadcast this weekend. I'm like, what the fuck?
That grappling tournament or card is pretty stacked for everything I know, which isn't too much of the grappling world. But I think he fights any of these guys. I think he might lose, but he does have power. He hits hard. I think he's just his corner the whole fight was asking for a straight right, and he kept kind of throwing like a hook, and Kai kept ducking under it. And I got a little nervous, but he just never was able to hit him with it. So he has a nice little check left hook. He doesn't really throw kicks much. He doesn't really jab much. He doesn't really go to the body much. His back control. I mean, he almost had Kai in that rear naked choke. That was a really good job by him there, but he couldn't really. His wrestling's not great. I think he does a lot of not stalling, but kind of just There's definitely some gaps in his game.
Yeah,
I think that might get exposed by the higher level guys. I mean, if he would have lost this fight like he should have, where would he be ranked? Probably around 10. Where Manel Kopp, David Dvorak, Matt Schnell. These are all, flyweight, man. Flyweight was written off and dead and buried a couple of years ago. And now, you have a pretty good top 15, at least I think.
Wasn't Manel Kopp just shitting on someone else recently?
It was the guy. Was it Alex Perez or Marcus Perez? No, who was it?
I saw him tweeting at somebody where I was like, dude, this guy, as much as I like him, he's made himself very, very unlikable because it's just constant bullshit coming from his mouth. And I just, I'm getting sick of
he was
it.
a former Ryzen world champion, and I know that's where you were so happy. It's Makayev. I told you yesterday I'm here to choke you out. That's what Makayev said. You're putting your purse, and I'm putting my purse. I hate it. No, not the purse for purse. That usually never happens.
No one ever puts
the
works
purse
out well. Man. Come on.
Yeah. Make this contract. Let's fight. I'm tired to expose you and argue with you. The next time you talk to me will be with my fist. That's what Manel Kopp said as of 2 hours ago. He also called this person, Andy Murtaugh, a fucking idiot. A fuck idiot. Okay. His tweets are pretty funny. I'm going through all of them, and he's just...
Yeah, I'm just going through...
I'll say flyweight's an exciting division, man. I just said that. But,
and he thinks Amir won the fight, so there you go. That's probably what... I'm sorry. It was him talking shit to Tim Elliott. That's what it was. A real man doesn't bring problems from house to street, much less expose your ex-wife. By the way, What did he expect from a woman with an OnlyFans account selling her naked photos? In fact, Tim already knew, and he only brought it to public for his own attention. And then in parentheses, 9 million P, which I don't know what that means.
9 million
pounds? I don't
know. I guess maybe like interactions or I don't know. I don't know what the P stands for.
Well, Manel, if you hear this, get back to us on what P means in that sentence. But listen, Manel Kopp just kind of, he really doesn't stop. So it's for him, but he does lose my respect thinking that Amir Albazi, even though it's probably his boy that he trains with, expecting me to believe that guy won the fight is just insane. Now he's going after Mukayev. That I do.
Well, Mukayev went after Albazi, which is very confusing. What's going on here? I don't know if Mukayev. I don't know. He just doesn't like anybody.
Yeah, the Muslims really seem to. There's a lot of inner fights going on where you're a fake Muslim. Very
confusing.
No, you're a fake Muslim. Seems like a lot of
the U.S. outside of the U.S., I know we're not familiar with it, but there's a lot of like Civil War kind of. It's like that everywhere. I mean, Israel and Dricus du Plessis are calling each other fake Africans, and it's like, well, I'm not really sure about that one. I don't know where to stand on this beef, so I'm going to stand on the side I
have nothing to do with this. I'm just going to watch.
If I say the wrong thing, I will be massacred, and I'm good. I don't know. I don't want to toe that line. So, people calling each other fake Muslims. I'm going to stand on the side of that battle and not intervene.
It's kind of like you walking down the street and you see a fight. You don't really know either one, but you're like, ooh, I'll stick around and watch.
Should I record or should I stop? I don't know.
Let me see who gets the upper hand on this one. So,
you start throw the jab.
Yeah. Put some ladder on him. So, yeah, we will keep it moving, though, ladies and gentlemen.
I can't believe you said, what did you expect from a woman with an OnlyFans?
Yeah, I mean, is he wrong?
Turns out no, right?
He turned out to be right. I mean, Kyle, what was his name? Kevin Kroom was probably like, yo.
Kevin Kroom.
Probably #1 subscriber. Like, yo, let me see. All right. So, Alex Caceres gets a ugly unanimous decision victory over Daniel Pineda.
Fight of the night, though.
It was fight of the night. It was exciting, definitely. I mean, kind of sloppy. Alex Caceres should have gotten him out of there. Pineda he had a little bit longer in this one. He had around 8 minutes as opposed to the 7 minutes that you told us. But you were 100% spot on with exactly how this would happen, and it kind of went that way. Pineda really just these are just two grizzled vets who should not be this high up on the card.
Yeah, I mean, look at how many losses they have. I know they've been there, done that, but they make a lot of mistakes, and they're still making mistakes, and they still have, obviously that PED suspension. Daniel Pineda was he was like a mythical figure, similar to Mr. TRT Vitor. That's obvious. I mean, Caceres went to the body over and over. He didn't go to the leg much, but he was outstriking him from distance. He did really good work on the clinch. He did get taken down a couple times, but he stuffed most of them, and he even had more control himself. So, maybe he is, slowly still kind of getting better and adding some wrinkles to his game. Still not, nothing crazy, but I think he's probably managed a better career than most people thought.
For sure.
When they first saw him.
Bruce Leroy.
So that's good. Yeah, I mean, the
Bruce
hair.
Leroy. And it was pretty crazy to see Bruce in the octagon this weekend. I did not, when this card was announced, I did not think Bruce was going to leave his hotel with all those ladies of the night there and decide to come and announce the fights. It's
they really had their worst squad commentating. That's for sure. I don't even mean Larasenko. I think Michael Bisping had a absolutely brutal night. I think he's had a lot of brutal nights recently. I've seen a lot of people on Twitter saying, what the fuck are you talking about? And I had some similar moments where he's like, this fighter's doing well. I'm like, bro, he's down 2-0.
Yeah.
He's not doing. He's about to lose. Like, too many moments where he's just not that sharp. Larasenko, I think she knows.
I think she's good, man. I really have been impressed by.
She does have some like quick reactions, like when there's a nice shot kind of out of nowhere. It's something that Anik does a lot too, so I can't really be mad because I would do the same thing.
But if you were, that's what I always say. Like if I was sitting cage side, I probably would say the exact same thing. If I saw that punch actually land in real time, like whoa,
right there as it snaps back. You know what I mean? Or you just hear it like flush and echo through the arena or through the apex.
Especially in the apex, you're like what? Like you can probably hear every little shot. It's like whoa, holy shit, man. Meanwhile, Joe Rogan's like, Ryan Hall's doing a great job here in this fight. When somebody just reposted that as one of the worst announcing performances of all time was Joe Rogan in the Ryan Hall-Ilya Topuria fight. Him saying how ingenious and great his rolling techniques were for the Imanori rolls.
God.
He's just getting smoked.
It's kind of similar to Dominic Cruz when he said...
he's letting the Conor Khabib fight? That's what he's letting him tire himself out, and Rogan's like, I think he's just getting smashed, man.
Like, Khabib's tired. He's like, he looks really. He's done. It's over. I'm like, what are we watching here?
Yeah, bro.
Or when Dom Cruz said, right before Andrade lifted Rose up and slammed her on her fucking head, he's like, Rose is good here. She doesn't have anything connected. She's good. He said, Andrade's going to try to pick her up and slam her, but it's not going to work. And then as soon as he said it, she picked her up and slammed her.
Yeah, hit her with a tombstone pile driver, and she became the new champ 10 seconds later. So
Yeah, and then she got that shit snatched from her at like 5 in the morning.
Easier said than done, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, good win for Alex Caceres, and I guess he keeps the dream alive a little bit longer. And Daniel Pineda probably won't get cut either. He'll just hang around, and that's that. How about Jim Miller eliminating Jesse Butler? That's the best way I can say it. Excommunicating him from the UFC, more than likely. Jim Miller came out. I had submission. And that one, this hurt, man.
Well.
This hurt because I just didn't think. I thought this guy would present a little bit more of a issue on the feet, and Miller would have to take him down and kind of just work his ground game. He didn't. He did not present any sort of problem. And I mean, Miller just throws so hard, and he's got that old man strength. He just bodied Jesse Butler, and really 23 seconds. What can you say?
Yeah, 3 of his last 4 wins now have come by one of those hooks, overhand left to Eric Gonzalez. Wasn't it Ghost Pepper, right? Yeah, your boy. You said he was going to win that belt.
Yeah.
Nicholas Mota, right hook. And then he guillotined Cowboy, and then a left hook to the uppercut to Jesse Butler. I mean, his last 3 of his last 4 wins have come by TKO, but if you look at who they are, 2 are not in the UFC anymore, I don't believe, and Jesse Butler. I can't imagine he has a long stay in the UFC, if you will. I mean, he was, he did the old folding over your own ankle.
That was tough. It was a tough look, man.
And it's even worse when you do it and you like stay there stuck because you're like, oh my god, he's just like,
yeah, he's literally just stuck there like a chair, and then he gets hit with one more,
just for good measure.
Yeah,
just for good measure. He take some time off there, Jesse. Thanks for stepping up, though.
Well, Jesse has been fighting at 45, so I hope he goes back to 45 and can get
maybe
they
give
him some time.
With 500 fights,
Exactly. Maybe give him a full training camp and a fight. Maybe it probably won't be in the UFC though. He probably could just go back down and do what he was doing, work his way back up. It's tough to just get knocked out in 23 seconds by was his name A10?
A10. Yeah, honestly, I kind of forgot that was his nickname.
Shout out to the Atlantic 10 division. Former, I don't even know if that's a thing anymore, but good win. Good win for Jim Miller, and it was a shame. I mean, I think the books knew you really couldn't get anything on this until the night of the fight, and
they knew. All right,
they knew exactly what was going to happen. And
Jesse Butler is the books.
Yeah, Jesse Butler was. I mean, like you said, it's ugly when a guy ends up stuck on his own leg, just propped up against the fence, and he gets hit with one more for like. And I can still. I'm just sitting here watching. I was watching that, and the sports book erupted when he knocked him out. Go to sleep. And
Jersey legend.
Someone stood up and said, "Go to sleep, motherfucker!" And I was like, "Oh wow." And I'm just sad.
Just I can't even. Down, why don't you?
I can't even be happy because I just fucking my plus 500 bet just might as well just throw it in my fucking trash can right there. All right, we keep it moving. Tim Elliott, Big Tim, takes the big W against Victor Altamirano. He kind of just mauled him. It's really the best way I could put it. It really was just a relentless, didn't really have any intention on standing with him for long portions. He did, but Tim Elliott's defense is just not good, man. He takes too many shots, but he really can. He kind of can just do it all. He can wrestle. He can take a shot. And, he really doesn't go for the finish, though, which is, I guess we should have calculated that in the, I thought Altamirano did good defense, but Altamirano was kind of okay with being on the ground and just kind of waiting it out. I think these guys were both okay with the way it went, and it was just a unanimous decision, an easy win for Tim Elliott.
Yeah, smothered him. I think Altamirano was trying to throw up some armbar or some triangles, something like that. That didn't work. When they were on the feet, though, Tim Elliott just kind of lets you hit him. So if he runs into somebody that, I mean, honestly, he fights Manel Kopp. I think Manel Kopp lights him the fuck up.
Yeah,
he can probably take Manel Kopp down. But man, since the fight starts standing, he just has his hands down. He just kind of bounces around. He seems very predictable on the feet. Easier for me to say, but
he's more of like a will guy.
Pace. Yeah. A Juliana Pena type.
Yep.
So we will fade him in the future for sure. I think the lingering effects of the divorce may be gone. Who knows? But
well, hopefully Manel Kopp doesn't get in there with him because he's gonna beat him up for Gina Mazzani. Apparently, he's a big Gina Mazzani supporter.
Yeah,
which is a wild stance to take online these days. But Yeah, I mean, at least Manel Kape's got people talking about the 25 division, which is something that people usually don't do. It's usually a real quiet affair down there, and it's a tough word to use, affair, at this point. But, yeah.
No pun intended.
Good win for Tim Elliott, and I would like to see what they do with him next. He's ranked? No? Yeah, he was. He's 11.
I think I was going to say,
was 11.
He is ranked.
He's probably going to be right around that same area, 10. Maybe moves up a little bit, but
I think the fight that makes him and Manel Kape. I'm telling you.
I think Manel Kape needs to fight up. He needs, like we kind of...
Albazi.
Yeah, like, if he's not going to fight Albazi, he needs to fight maybe a Nicolau or a Royval or even a Kai Kara France, like somebody like up so he can make that quick jump up to the upper echelon of the 25 division, but...
I wonder if there is a fight between Nicolau and Royval. Is that a thing or no?
I feel like it. I feel like I'm missing something here in this whole story because I do think there is a scheduled fight between Royval at the very least. Kape was supposed to fight with Figueiredo pretty recently.
Yeah, and then somebody else that had weak blood.
Right, yes.
Weak DNA.
It's supposed to be Alex Perez, but he fainted, right, or something. Yeah, he had a seizure. He had a seizure that day, that's a tough one. This guy's shitting on him after he's, I mean, come on, man. We got to be better than that. But, his weak blood apparently is the reason that or his weak DNA or whatever the fuck. I mean, Manel Kape, man, I got to say, he, at the very least, has me intrigued. Nicolau faced Brandon Royval April 25th. And he lost the fight via first-round knockout. That was the Holloway Allen card.
I remember that because, he got smoked by that knee.
Yep. It's hard to keep track of all these fights, man. There's just so
many. There's just so much going on.
I really wish they'd lessen it, honestly. As much as I love it, for the integrity of it all, we don't really need to see all this fucking nonsense out here each week.
I would love to know who made the decision, who watched... what's our guy's name? The heavyweight that just fought recently. What was his name? He had no training camp or partners.
Oh man, last week. Yeah. I don't have it written down, but
he lost to Parker Porter.
Yep.
His name was Sawyer or some stupid shit. Something Smith. Who went over the tape and was like, "Yo, we have to sign him now. We can't wait." Like, when somebody saw Trevor Peek. Did anybody say we should probably give him a couple more months or fights? And Trevor Peek's not even that bad, so I'm trying to think of somebody like worse.
I have somebody for you, and his name. Oh no, where is it? It's not
Jamal Pogues. Jamal Pogues is pretty bad. Whoever this Michael Parkin guy that he's fighting, I don't even know any of these people. Carl Deaton, who really needed to give that guy a contract? Let's be honest. Joe Selecki took care of him like it was nothing. Shannon Ross. Why? Why was he signed?
Braxton Smith.
Braxton. I said Sawyer. Braxton Smith.
Oh, man. I had to get that name. I wanted to remember that forever. Braxton Smith, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. If he fights again in the UFC, that'll be a goddamn travesty. But it'll be a good chance for us to make money, so.
Wouldn't be surprised, and I'll never fade again. I didn't fade that time, but I'm not going to fade. Yeah. You guys know what I'm trying to say. Carini Silva, with a, 130-something knee bar? 140? I'm trying to pull it back up.
Nasty. 145.
145. 1 minute, 45 seconds to knee bar. Ketlin Souza. Really, we didn't know what to expect here. That's why we kind of just took the fight to not go the distance. And I really wish we were on Silva inside the distance or something of that nature. It kind of seemed very obvious when the fight started, but I'm glad we won something here. This was a easy bet to win.
I mean, she completely took her ACL off of her body, out of her knee, and just brought it home with her. That was kind of scary to watch. It happened so quick. She just yank, tap, let go. It's over. I feel like that was the move, man. I mean, she had a bunch of submissions, and Ketlin Souza had lost by submission. She had been taken down. She had been in competitive fights with girls that were wrestling based that weren't really good. So, yeah, that's probably something we should have saw. But I mean, both. Hey,
win's a win, man.
Yeah, well, fight not go the distance. I mean, under 1.5 was probably plus 300, 400. So, we really could have made money. I wonder what plus or under a half a round was. Probably plus 8. but we'll take it.
Money is money, ladies and gentlemen. We take that fight not to go the distance, which is probably going to be a new staple on this show, minus 140. We had it at 130, but I think it went off at minus 140, 150 by the time the card went off. So, Zaleski Dos Santos wins a split decision against Abubakar Nurmagomedov. Did you agree with the decision? I did. We both had Zaleski Dos Santos, but I just didn't think Abubakar was really doing enough to get the win. I thought Zaleski was getting the better of the striking exchanges, and I just think he did enough to win this fight.
Yeah, it was close. It did get a little close. I think Zaleski, he was kind of worrying me a little bit. He started to get wild, and I was like, oh, man, you got to beat this guy. Like, you cannot lose to him. And
he's not that good. Yeah, let me just say that for the record.
Yeah, I think the
powerful, but not that good.
Yeah, the mystique around him is. I mean, listen, when guys fail PED,
mystique as in steroids.
It appears his aura has worn off. I don't know why. It's so odd when he failed that drug test at age 36. I don't know.
I wonder what happened. Maybe it's that he tested positive for like Ostarine or some shit like that.
I think maybe we should. Also he blamed the test.
Yeah,
I didn't fail. The test failed. So it's like, okay.
Hey man, that's why we bet him. He said it was in God's hands.
It was, and thank God that Bruce Buffer announced the right person. So I thought I was gonna get fucked on that one too, because I would have really had a bad night if that fucked up a parlay that hit. So we will take that. But I think we need to do something, some deep diving on fighters who fail USADA test in their mid to late 30s. The same PPD, like I told you, like I predicted, has made an appearance. I don't know if you hear them.
I do not hear them, but I'll for everyone out there,
it's just an ambulance.
Going by.
Okay. I was wrong. I'm sorry.
There they go.
There they are.
EMS coming by. Hopefully everyone's safe down there. But
driving 20 miles per hour. That's cool.
Must not be that dangerous. So that was it was a good win for him, though. I mean, I never again. This is another fight where I was like, I think we won, but I don't know. So I guess that's why the kind of fights like this gained my confidence for when the main event came around. I was like, okay, we're gonna get the right side of this, Yeah. Well, no, not good at all.
I think this Nurmagomedov is definitely maybe he's not really related to Khabib. I think the ones that are related to him are actually not good, and the ones who aren't related to him are good. So I think we need to figure out the lineage there. It might take a little bit, but I think that's something we could do a deep dive into.
I think we talked about this before. This one stinks. He's not good, and he's kind of a little bit of a he's not in the shape that these other guys are. I don't know what he's doing when these guys are all training. If he's just eating burgers or something like that, I don't know. I have no idea what these guys are eating, but or doing. It doesn't seem like he's training. He's definitely not on the shit that Zaleski Dos Santos is on, because he still looks kind of jacked. I guess next fight will be the Fade Zaleski Dos Santos sort of situation. But Daniel Santos with a dominant win over Johnny Munoz, who could be compared to Franklin the Turtle, because he really was just kind of turtling up here in this fight, and he really was just not trying to get finished. Yeah.
Or that Peruvian kid. What was that kid's name?
Trying to pull guard. What was that guy's name? Man, you're putting me through hell today with trying to find these names.
I know. There used to not be that many Peruvian bum fighters, and now there's a lot of them. So I can't think of his name, but it's on the tip of my tongue. He was supposed to fight
Claudio Puelles.
Yeah, he fought Clay Guida, and he put on a pathetic. Yeah, him, Ryan Hall, and Mr. Johnny Munoz. I think you can put them in the pull guard Hall of Shame. They are not. Who's really good at pulling guard? Nate Diaz.
Let me just say, man, unless you're fighting me, you probably shouldn't pull guard in the UFC.
It's really not smart at all.
I've seen it work maybe although the times I've seen people do it and it actually works, it's probably a 10% hit rate, right? It is.
And it's usually when there's it's Charles Oliveira pulling guard against Kevin Kroon.
Yeah, when you're fighting a fucking moron, that's when it works.
That makes sense. But, just in general, to even fight me and you and then I pull guard, you're probably like, why did you just do that? Do you have a 15-degree black belt that I don't know about? And even if you do, so do I. So it's you're really just giving up a position. You're pretty much giving up the round.
Exactly.
So I never really understood it. Johnny Munoz, back to the lab, brother.
Back to the lab, indeed. How about Don'Tale Mayes? This is a guy you have claimed in the past that would probably challenge John Jones if he's able to get there in time before John is out of there. But he takes
I don't see why not.
he takes a big W against Andrei Arlovsky. He puts Mr. Arlovsky into the shadow realm there, the pit bull, for a little bit, and he bounces back. And then I think the stoppage was appropriate. And Don'Tale Mayes looked horrible throughout this fight. I thought Arlovsky was going to be able to tough his way through a decision, but it's just a sloppy fight, just back and forth slop. And good for Don'Tale Mayes. It really sucks that we should have just stayed away from this. We knew it, but we had to dabble because we hate Don'Tale Mayes that much. There you go.
One good right hand to the chin, and that was all he wrote for Mr. Andre.
Lord Kong.
Lord. That's something. I'm not going to call him that. I'm going to call him Mr. Mays. Billy Mays here, but yeah, I mean, Mr. Arlovsky, I think he's the oldest fighter on the roster by like a nice substantial amount of time, like a couple of years. So he should probably be on the chopping block. You know, when people are like, "Oh man, 25 years ago today, he made his debut and got knocked the fuck out," I'm like, "Oh, okay," and then he gets knocked out again. So he should probably call it quits, I think. But if they do give him a chance to go out, you know, one shining moment, a retirement fight, if you will, I will be there no matter what, betting against him. Unless it's Braxton Smith. That I might not be able to get on board with. But honestly, Braxton Smith might put him out if he catches him. You know?
Braxton Smith could knock anyone out if they catch him, but the problem is he's having trouble these days catching people. So Andrei Arlovsky is 23-16-1 in his UFC career since 2000, dude. He was fighting since 2000 in the UFC.
Yeah, he made his MMA debut in the 90s, which is just, I mean, you know. Yeah, we're in 2023, which is still disgusting to say. And if you've made your debut in the 90s, you should be training and coaching or, you know, at least not fighting. Having him and Jim Miller on the same card was pretty impressive given their, you know, I think Jim Miller's like 26-16 in the UFC, which is insane. And has like almost every record there is to have. So, yeah.
How about John Castaneda getting the win over Gafurov? They had a soccer stadium filled at 4:30 in the morning to watch these two Tajikistan natives get after, which we will talk about next, the second one. But
they had a decent night.
Yeah,
right?
Castaneda, he handled this one. It was close for, you know, a little bit. Castaneda hurt him with a head kick at some point. He's switching stances. He's got a nasty little stand-up game, and he hits hard for a 35 or so. He's a tough night out for anyone.
His cardio did look like a bit of a issue-ish. Like it didn't. It wasn't what I would have hoped for. I think mainly Muin Gafurov just kind of had another gear to him, really. But what did you think about Chris Tognoni? You know, noted awful referee taking a point.
I never agree. It has to be so aggressive, and I just didn't like it.
I agree.
But, you know, Chris Tognoni likes to get himself involved in the action. He is the Scott Foster of the UFC. So shout out to all my NBA fans out there who know what I'm talking about. But how about, was Jamie Malarkey the biggest favorite on the card and he took the L?
He went from the biggest underdog to the biggest favorite. And he did his best, I don't know, he did his best Paul George impression, I guess, with his Euro step into a right hook. I'm not sure what he was doing. He was honestly playing with his food, it looked like. You know, he was doing well. He was doing what he had to do, but you take too many chances. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter who you fight. I mean, he's been hit before. He's been hurt before. He's been at the very first moment, I thought it was a bad stoppage. And then I saw him try to get up, and I was like, oh, okay.
I was just about to ask you.
He doesn't really know where he is. So I think maybe we did the right thing here. Listen, man, who was it? It was Herb Dean. Yeah, so, I mean, I love blaming Herb Dean. I'm all for it.
Well, but it's just really questionable when Herb usually lets people get murdered in the octagon, and then this one he wants to get in there real quick to break it up. He probably had Naimov money line, which I wouldn't doubt if Herb took a little. No, I'm just kidding. Allegedly. But, like you said, like I was like the first thing I was like, damn, that was an early stoppage. Like I didn't even have anything on here, so I was just watching it, and I was just like, damn. But then I saw, like you said, saw him like try to get up, and he was just like, I'm sure Herb probably got a good look of him going out at some point where he was like, whoa, all right, let me get in here. Didn't think it was horrible, and good win for Naimov, man. The Hillman, he didn't look bad. He didn't look great either, but this is not an easy matchup, and he's a 45er too. He's on late notice. He took this fight, so he might be a problem down there at 45 if he can, if the cardio holds up and he's still, looks like himself.
Jamie Larkey is just a disappointment.
Always has been. Unfortunately, that's fucked up to say, but it's just more from a gambling standpoint. I just can never trust that guy.
He has a his strikes landed per minute and his strikes absorbed per minute are both a cool, smooth 4.20, 420 for all you potheads out there listening.
Shout out.
But yeah, the Ferez Ziam fight absolutely blew that one. The Brad Riddell fight absolutely blew that one. The Jalen Turner fight, I think he was doing well, and he had definitely a path to success. Blew that one. So, also, I don't know if he hurt Jalen Turner before that, but also the Francis last time we saw him, he wasn't able to finish Francisco Prado, which we thought he should have been able to do.
Yeah.
Even that Michael Johnson fight, very, very close decision there. So honestly, you look at his wins. Who were his wins? Francisco Prado, Michael Johnson, debatable. Devontae Smith, he got knocked out once, and that pretty much.
He's playing for the Eagles now.
Yeah, he's done. He's making catches in the Super Bowl. It seems like Devontae Smith of the Eagles can take bigger shots than Devontae Smith in MMA, but I don't know. And then Kama Worthy. So who hasn't knocked that guy out?
Come on.
I haven't, but who hasn't? Probably a small percentage of the world's population has not done it to him yet, or at least in the future. I think he might still be fighting somehow. But his wins aren't impressive. I guess he's still young. He's our age, so I guess I shouldn't count him out completely. But he just makes very questionable decisions in there, and in a fight he was winning, he just gave it away.
Elise Reed. How about Elise Reed? This was a questionable decision, I thought. But not that questionable where I thought it was a robbery. When I watched it, I thought, okay, Jin Yu Fry won. I think she won 1 and 2. But this was this was a slop fest as well. Really, Elise Reed, zero striking defense whatsoever. Her strikes look okay. They look kind of crisp, and she doesn't look horrible in there, but it's... I don't know, man. Really, what do you leave this fight saying? This really did nothing for me at all.
I'm very impressed by Elise Reed, I think. She's
really?
got quick hands.
Other than that, but she gets hit.
The problem is
the
she is very low volume. She can't really stop takedowns. Jin Yu Fry also doesn't throw a ball. It's funny, Jin Yu Fry was hitting her with a nice little left hook whenever she threw it. There's another situation where she has, I think, is it Saif Saud and her husband in her corner?
Yes.
I don't know if it was Saif. Yes, it was Saif Saud. They're telling her to do things, and she's not doing them. Not even close to doing them. And you wonder why she's losing fights. That's probably why. So that's Saif Saud, he's in a lot of people's corners, and he gives out a lot of good advice that gets ignored. I'm sure he's probably tired of it. I know I would be, but
especially last couple times I've seen some of these girls and guys out there. He's literally screaming at them, and you're in the apex. It's not even an excuse I didn't hear you. Him and the husband were yelling the exact same thing, and she just wasn't doing it. And it's just, what are you gonna do, man? I can lead you to water, can't make you drink it, but good win for Elise Reed. I'd like to see her get faded next time, so I can't wait to see who they match her up against. Honestly, she's very matchup dependent. If she fights somebody who wants to stand with her, I probably would take her because I really do. Like you said, I do. She's quick, volume's low, and she doesn't really hit that hard. But I don't know. Not a lot of girls at 115 hit hard, so it's
you're right. And she's very small with a short reach. Most of those girls
good
are
kicks,
right.
though.
Fry. Yeah, she can do some things, right? She's definitely she'll always be in a split. That's for sure. There's always gonna be a split decision or a 2-1 unanimous decision. She's always gonna drop around her 2. So I think that's a safe bet is betting Elise Reed overs, even though she has been finished and has a finish of her own. But you want to get her in there with Vanessa Demopoulos?
Easy win for us.
Really? You think Vanessa Demopoulos? I think that'd be a good fight.
I would take Elise Reed probably, but Vanessa would probably be able to take her down.
Yeah, for sure. Cheyenne Vlismas. I
give you
don't know.
Cheyenne.
I'm just trying to take anybody that's beaten Jin Yu Fry recently. Polyana Viana knocked her the fuck out in like 20 seconds, so maybe get her in there. Maybe
Run it back.
run a Yasmin Uruguay, our girl.
What about
that's a
SGJ,
future
dude?
champ.
Get her to drop weight and get in there with her. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I just
Shai
wanted to
Gilgis
give
Alexander.
I
don't know if
Silvana
he's,
Gomez Juarez. Show some respect.
Oh, Jay. I thought you said A.
SGJ, baby.
Yeah, same shit.
How about Damon Blackshear with a ground and pound finish of Luan Lacerda, who kept rolling for heel hooks and toe holds and knee bars and any sort of feet thing he could get his hands on. And Damon just kept, working his way out, getting back up, and then a couple times he was just stuck there. So he's like, all right, let me punch you in the side of your head. And
probably hurts.
Yeah, in the second round, he got him out of there. I believe, was it Tung Yoni was like, oh, boy, fight back. And I'm looking, and I'm like, what does he mean fight back? I mean, he's landed a couple, but then you saw the guy's face. You're like, oh shit.
Man, he
took some fucking shots,
nose.
dude.
It really only takes one. Right.
Oh yeah.
A nice clean shot to the nose or something, and you're bleeding instantly. I saw he was like kind of protesting, and then I was like, oh wow, his face is very red. I guess you can't let that fight go on any longer. So.
You can't let a guy just get punched in the side of the head for.
I mean, you got to do something about it, especially when you're already in a disadvantageous position where your face is pretty much vulnerable. So. Very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate, but it is a W for Damon Blackshear. And we were saying before the fight, it's going to happen at some point. He's going to finish one of these guys, and he's able to do it this weekend. So good for him.
Good win for him.
Good win for him. Felipe Lins gets a unanimous decision victory over Maxime Forrest Grishin. This was another slop fest. Felipe Lins looks good at 205 pounds. He really does. He looks like he's just in much better shape, and I mean, maybe he'll put a little bit of a run together here, but he was even having to fight for his life here in this one. And I don't know, Maxime just looked old, looked slow, just looked like he really wasn't able to take him down. Felipe was good with the takedown defense. He just looked, he just was better than him.
Yeah, not really much more else to say about that one, really.
And that was UFC Vegas 73, I believe, from the Apex. Alex Caceres and Daniel Pineda win fight of the night. I don't really have much of a disagreement. We really didn't have much of a competition-wise for fight of the night.
Yeah.
Performance of the night, Jim Miller with an elimination of Jesse Butler. And Muhammad Naimov gets $50,000 for his bomb of a hook that landed on Jamie Malarkey's chin to get him the big upset and the big win. So that is UFC Vegas 73. We will have another episode next week about the June 10th card. UFC 289 from, I think, is it Vancouver? It's one of these Canadian cities.
Vancouver. Joe Rogan will not be there.
Yeah, of course he's not. Because, he doesn't go to Canada or outside the continental U.S. Well, I guess he could go to Canada, right? I guess
right across the border,
Technically he could, but he's, I guess that's part of his deal. He doesn't go there. So it'll be Amanda Nunes. It'll be Irene Aldana. It'll be Charles Oliveira. It'll be Beneil Dariush. So that's what the card is built on. We have some, okay, fun stuff on the prelims. Only 11 scheduled fights here on this one. This card has taken some hits left and right. It was supposed to have Wonder Boy and Michelle Pajeda. That's got lost. Dvorak and Matt Schnell, which would have been nice. That got lost. Chris Dawkins going down to 205 to fight Khalil Roundtree. That got lost. So this is going to be a tough one on Saturday night.
Yeah, I do like the Ige Landwehr fight. I think that can be good.
For sure. There's definitely some good ones on here. Like Eric, your boy Anders, and Marc-Andre Barriault, although that's not like something you're going to tell all your boys about. That is a very close matchup, I would say. I mean,
I love Imavov Curtis. I love that.
That is a nice fight on the prelim.
I think we've talked about that before.
Adam
Kyle Nelson Blake, Adam Fuckett, and Mike Malott. I got a sneak peek. I think I have a bet on Adam Fuckett money line here. If it gets out of the first round, he can't lose. So there you go. Also, might have to take a shot on Renee Aldana, but not quite sure.
Miranda Maverick's getting back in there. Eamon Zahabi.
Sure.
Blake Builder,
Well,
Kyle Nelson. David Dvorak is fighting a guy named Steve Urseg, who literally looks like a crackhead, dude. I mean, not to be disrespectful, but Astro Boy. Oh, man, his name's Astro Boy. Oh.
He also looks like an adult version of Robin Aaron from Game of Thrones.
He does. He does. Wow. I didn't even think about that.
I guess that's what happened. I mean, all those years where he was being called, everyone thought he was soft and, sucking on mom's tit until he was like 12. He's a fighter now. Astro Boy is what we call him, I guess.
Well,
you said he's fighting David Dvorak. That's going to be a tough fight.
He's going to get smoked, dude. He was supposed to fight Clayton Carpenter, which he probably would have got cooked there. And that fight got canceled. He's fighting David Dvorak. And this guy, he's finished a lot of people. He's 9-1, but he's got to win against Shannon Ross. So I know you've been saying Shannon Ross he's him, I believe you said at one point. So I was like, wow, really? And you're like, no, dude, he's him. I'm like, okay, well, I guess people probably really think though that we actually believe these. Like when we're like, yeah, you once said that he was going to be the next, he was going to be the Michael Jordan of MMA. Because I did say that.
I did say that about you did say Orion Kosuke reminded you of GSP. I don't know. That's what I thought you said. I could be wrong, but
we'll be back.
Like that, I think.
We'll be back later.
No KSW.
I guess nobody probably even knows what the fuck we're talking about. But
listen, I think it's time for the world to get on board with KSW. It happens in the daytime every Saturday, right? People are just going to sleep. They're getting biblically put out to pasture every fight. The entire main card was all not. There was a forearm choke, right? There was absolutely just a domination of the Poods, our boy.
Yeah.
I can't believe this guy went from like a bodybuilder, weightlifter, strongman to like a 17-9 pro MMA fighter. He got put out though. Mr. Artur Spilka, former boxer, former boxing champ, put him out. That's the new guy, man. It's the new heavyweight champion of the world. I think the UFC's going to look to sign him. Mamed Khalidov in the main event also. Flying kick. That was a pretty brutal finish in the main event. Just the whole – everybody was dying. It was pretty insane to see.
All you need to do is go on the KSW Twitter page and go down some of the KOs that went down on Saturday afternoon, and it was glorious. You were sending me some of them where I was just like, dude, it's like people are getting hit with baseball bats there. Like, what do they have in their glove? People were going to sleep. That guy getting knocked out from full mount was one of the craziest things I've ever seen. Like he got hit with a clean, just sharp fucking right hand, man. And he just wound up turning into a sack of potatoes on top of the guy.
Falling asleep dead on top of the guy you fully mounted. Never seen that one before.
No.
Never seen that one before. Shout out to Mr. Klonowski, another former boxing heavyweight champion. It seems like a lot of boxers in general that are heavyweights are kind of making that transition. Once they get knocked out a couple times early in fights in boxing, they're like, let me go to MMA. And they're having some success, man. Spilka, former boxer, he's in a KSW co-main event at 2-0. So,
there's not a lot of wrestlers at heavyweight, man. If you think about it,
and also some wrestlers, they probably aren't technically sound, or they don't have a good gas tank, so their cardio is shit. Listen, if Deontay Wilder started training MMA, there's gonna be a lot of guys that couldn't beat him just off the sheer knockout ability. So I'm all for it. Deontay Wilder, Greg Hardy, sign me up.
Greg Hardy just got knocked out in the 17th round of a fight I just saw the other day.
Wait, what?
Yeah, hold on. I got to look this up. I wanted to bring this up when we got here. I just totally thank you for saying that.
I can't believe you didn't. The Prince of War.
Yeah, the Prince of War. He just took a big fat L somewhere. I think he's now a professional boxer, right?
Yeah. It looks like okay. So I'm looking at his.
So he lost in the Team Combat League, or no, I'm sorry, this isn't it. Right now, it says round 1, but I saw on the screen it said 17.
That's pretty crazy. Do you think the 7 was an accident? Hold on. There's team. So this is like PFL's little brother.
Oh, okay, that's what was going on.
The Los Angeles Tengoose, the Dallas Enforcers, the Paulie Malignaggi's an announcer. It happens at the Mohegan Sun Casino in Uncasville, Connecticut, on YouTube. The DC Destroyers. I wonder what team won because there was 36 fights on this card.
What?
Michael Hunter and Jerry Forrest. Oh my! Wow, what? They were both former boxers, pretty high level. It looks like you fight multiple times a night, so I guess that's why. Hasim Rahman Jr. was on this card. He lost. No surprise there. Wow. Well, he got knocked out by Alexander Flores in round 1. It seems.
Well,
so
nothing to be ashamed of there, Greg. Keep the dream alive, brother. Just keep on getting in there, and
it seems like you beat this guy and then lost to him. I'm kind of confused at what's going on in Team Combat League.
The Dallas Enforcers. Let's keep.
I just watched the video of him getting knocked out, and yeah, he got knocked out all right. Oh, wait, he stood up, walking back to his corner, kind of a little wobbly. All right. Are they going to let him continue? Yep. Come here. Walk to me. Yeah. All right. Here comes Mr. Flores. And listen, ladies and gentlemen, you're not getting this commentary anywhere else. I'll tell you that. There's a big right. I can't believe he's boxing now.
Yeah.
I can't believe.
I mean, he wasn't very good at MMA, to be honest. He was kind of just a one-trick pony, but
he has this guy against the ring, against the ropes, and he hits him with a big shot. Damn, Greg Hardy. It's funny because Greg Hardy had Tuivasa hurt before he got, and then he goes out. Oh, man, he almost went through the ropes. Yeah, he got up, and then he almost went back down. Oh, man, he's wobbly.
Shout out to Bernard Hopkins.
You never miss a chance to bring that up, huh? You just love bringing it up.
Oh, he's out the ring. Yo, I got to get a soundboard, bro. I have to get a soundboard so that I can just play that whenever I want.
That's got to be number one.
Oh,
that's got to be number one.
Oh, he's out the ring.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get out of here, ladies and gentlemen.
Let's get out this ring.
Shoulder Strike. Oh, we got to get out the ring. Shoulder Strikes MMA Podcast and Boxing Podcast. We'll be back Friday afternoon, more than likely, to discuss everything you need to know for the UFC 289 card. We might even have a Hot Take Hot Box sports episode sometime this week to discuss the NBA Finals, the Phillies, and how far off the Sixers are from being one of these teams in the NBA Finals, and it's not that close. So let's just go. And I did want to just discuss where the Sixers go wrong when guys like Caleb Martin and Gabe Vincent are playing huge games, and we just can't even get D'Anthony Melton to hit the rim on three-pointers. So it's just you got to ask some questions every once in a while. So that's what we're going to do.
I have a lot of questions.
That's what we're going to do this week. We'll be back on Friday as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We'll be back. My name is Matt McSweeney.
Ty Capone, as always.
And we will be back for your listening pleasure.
Deuces.
His last fight. And Rayfield suggested to Hopkins 2 possible opponents.
Big right hand.
He's out. Out the ring.
Oh my gosh.
That's
Joe
crazy.
Smith,
that's
who
crazy.
Dan Rayfield suggested as an opponent, has just knocked Bernard Hopkins out of the ring.
You are now listening to the Hot Take Hot Box.